Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Cosplay Interview. Today I'm interviewing PC Cosplay, where she is cosplaying as Princess Bubblegum from Adventure Time. That's right. No slip ups, right? All right. So, how are you today?
Oh, it's been a fun day already, so get
Nice.
to dress up.
Yeah, no one can deny the benefit of dressing up, right? So
Right.
how did you discover cosplaying to begin with?
So I've actually looked through a few of your videos before, and it seems like my story is similar to a lot of the other cosplayers. I was in high school, and I had a group of friends, and they were going to a convention, and I wanted to go with them, and they were cosplaying South Park. So I have naturally really curly hair, and I had the right body type, and so I was Bebe in the South
Nice.
Park group. And I'm still friends with a lot of those girls today, and we still cosplay together. I cosplay more, but whenever they're in town, we're all just like, let's just do it together. So we've been friends for like 16, 17 years.
Nice. So, what was your first official cosplay?
So when I was with them, I did Bebe and I was Eric Cartman. But when
Nice.
I was doing it myself, I was Winry Rockbell at Anime Expo in like 2007.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. So, are you working on new cosplay plans right now?
I am actually because of the quarantine, because I don't know when the next convention's going to be. I'm really working on a cosplay that I can make um, as accurate historically as possible.
Oh, nice.
So if you have access to academic databases, because I'm a graduate student, you can get the Vogue archives, and you can go all the way back to the 1890s and look at their fashion. So
Yep.
yeah,
Nice.
so
Yeah. Sorry, the wife was trying to ask me something. I'm like, yeah, I'm in an interview. You cannot interrupt me when I'm in the
no worries.
interview.
My
No,
dogs
it's
went
a.
on a long walk today, so now they're all passed out.
Oh, that's good. So, no need to take the dogs out, right?
Nope,
Awesome.
they're not going to be barking.
So yeah, historically accurate cosplays that'd be very interesting. Kind of like Sherlock Holmes or
Yeah,
more historically George Washington or Abraham Lincoln or something. That would be kind of funny.
yeah. Well, actually, it's there's the video game Don't Starve,
Oh yes. Hmm.
and in the game, in the lore, there's the darkness, and that's her name is Charlie,
Okay.
and she vanished in 1906, but a lot of her Victorian style is like 1977 or 1877.
Hmm.
So I'm like trying to mix those two styles with her style to
Oh, that'd be
create
cool.
like a dark, spooky, the darkness that kills you if you forget like to get enough wood and set a fire.
Yeah, it's set afire. Yeah, that game is quite intense. I've only lasted like 17 days, I think.
I made it through winter once. I'm working on it though.
It's like we will survive.
And then it's always like I've discovered that the reason many people end up dying is because you get a little too bold.
Yeah.
That's what when you stop playing safe, you're gone.
Well, see, the whole premise is you have to unlock the whole entire map. You have to get all the marble pieces or everything. It's just
Yeah,
it's very in very hard game, and just to survive. And then of course when
yeah,
you play the Don't Starve together with your friends, then it's a lot easier. But
yeah. My we do play Don't Starve together.
nice,
Don't together. And my friend is like coming up with rules for a drinking game.
nice, nice. Every time the wolves attack us, we have to drink. No,
Like
uh,
every time someone dies, take a drink. And like we
right,
have some people who have never played before, so
yeah.
you're like,
Nice.
okay.
So when you are making your cosplays, do you prefer sewing, armor making, or wig working?
I sewing. I love sewing. I think it's a lot of fun. There's the YouTuber Mikara Tours
Mm-hmm.
that I like watching. She's recently become really popular. Um, and I love seeing how she just finds pieces of fabric and just makes amazing things. And that's what I like about making outfits. I like finding pieces of fabric and being like, what can I do? What can I
Yeah.
make?
Yeah,
It's
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
it's always good to have that crafting bone. So, have you ever done any armor making or wig working?
My it's kind of I kind of done both. If I want to get better at both. That's my goal. I think with the next costume is like get better at that. I cosplayed Sango from Inuyasha,
Okay.
and so I made the boomerang, and
Oh,
that was
nice.
actually like going to Home Depot, figuring out how to use a saw, all of that stuff. And wig stuff. A lot of wig rescue is
Hmm.
usually what I end up doing. But I did dye a wig once, and that was terrifying.
Wow,
Absolutely
that must have been fun.
I I'm not a very clean person, like a neat person. So if I have something that involves paint, everything's gonna get paint on it. It's just
Yeah,
gonna happen.
yeah. It's an organized mess.
It's an organized chaos.
Yeah,
It's madness, but there be a method to it.
nice. So, when you do photo shoots for your for your cosplays, do you prefer to only do them at cons, or are you more of a green screen cosplayer, or do you like to go to specific locations?
Usually to do them at cons because I get really busy throughout the time between conventions. So if I'm at a con, I have everything that I need, and because I go to a lot of conventions like Arizona when I'm here or in
Hmm.
places that I know well, I know
Yeah,
what's around there. And the people who are helping do the photography, like I know them personally, and it makes it really fun.
yeah. It's kind of hard to be a grad student, go to your work, and cosplay. It's kind of
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
exactly. And especially with characters like Bubblegum where like I'm pink usually. I have like a lot of paint on.
yeah,
And it's people are all up in Phoenix and I'm down in Tucson, so that's a 2-hour drive in pink.
yeah. Oh, that would be hard. That would be hard.
It's
Yeah,
fun, but
yeah.
no gas stations.
But of course, you have your Tucson Comic Con as well.
Yeah.
So which hopefully I'll be able to attend next year.
Hopefully,
Fingers
I
crossed.
I
Fingers
love work.
toast. Everything crossed.
I usually work conventions and it's my favorite thing to do. So I love how Tucson Comic Con's grown. It's a great con. Totally plugging it because I work there and I love it.
Nice.
Join us.
Yeah, unfortunately, all conventions are canceled due to the pandemic. And
I know.
so, how are you coping with the pandemic? Are you able to keep your job? Are you able to cosplay more? Like, are you able to go out and do photo shoots or anything?
Basically, actually, I recently started. So I started my grad program, getting a degree in library science,
Hmm.
and then I got an internship at Marvel Entertainment in their library. So
Wow.
I worked in the Marvel library since May of last year. But when the pandemic hit, I was only supposed to be there for 1 semester and I stayed for 3 semesters, but
Hmm.
the third semester cut in half. So actually I've had to move an apartment from my New York apartment back to my Arizona apartment
Oh, wow.
during the pandemic. So it was keeping me busy and now that's where I'm starting to get. I really want to make this historically accurate costume. I want to
Yeah.
go through all the Vogue archives, all my historical fashion class material because I've taken those courses and just really take my time with this costume for Charlie and just have fun with it.
So, do you think a lot of people will recognize the character?
My goal is I don't think people will quite recognize it because even if they play it, they might not know the lore behind it. I'm just
Hmm.
very character based, so that's where I
Yeah.
know it. I
Nice.
want people to just to look at the costume and be like, that's a piece of art.
Yeah, it's true.
And be like and enjoy it and like because I've had friends who go up to a cosplayer, ask for a picture, and I said, do you know that series? And they say, no, it's just a beautiful outfit.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah.
that's my goal is that I want people to be like, oh, that's pretty.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
pretty. I
slick.
want to take a picture. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because
No,
pictures are the goal for me.
yeah, pictures are the goal. So, is there a type of character that you cosplay frequently?
I use cosplay when I was younger. I used cosplay as a way to help my anxiety. So I would
Mhm.
choose characters that I found something strong about or that I really enjoyed. I end up going with cartoons. I cosplayed Shigo like Western
From Kim
cartoons.
Possible. Yep.
Yeah, Shigo from Kim Possible, Princess Bubblegum. My next one I really want to do too is Rainbow Bright from the
Nice.
old show
Yep.
because I'm an equestrian. I ride horses, so there's that.
Very nice.
Um, I cosplay My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, a lot. So just and I cosplay characters like I love Princess Bubblegum because she is a genius. She's super smart. She's a little bit of a dictator, but she made
She
all of
is.
her people. Yeah,
Yep.
she's a mad scientist dictator.
There
What's
you
not to
go.
love about her?
Of course. So, do you have any favorite cosplayers?
There's one person that is actually friends with my sister, and her name is she's Coco Cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
It's like C0C0
Yep.
Cosplay, and she has some of the most gorgeous cosplays. She's like, let me see if I can get her because she's has probably the prettiest um Sailor Venus cosplay I've seen. I love her, and also she's a really nice person, so that's always like people
Well,
win me over.
yeah. In Arizona, you'll find the cosplay community is very open and willing to share their ideas. It's really
Yeah,
cool.
here.
Yep. Hmm.
And here are some of her cosplays. There she is. She's great.
Yeah, she is. She's really great because a lot of people like to follow her and look at her different cosplays that she has done. So, what's the most detailed cosplay you've ever done?
There's a couple of them. One of them, this is an old story too. This was back in 2012, 2011. After my first year of college, my friends and I did midnight tea at Anime Expo.
Okay.
And what that is, it's a Lolita style thing. So you dress Lolita and you create an entire tea set based
Okay.
off of thing. We did Winnie the Pooh.
Nice.
So I was Pooh Bear. I made a Winnie the Pooh style dress with hair, and I had a straw hat that I put flowers on. And I made a purse that was a honey pot, and it was just
Nice.
really fun. I put like it had a little bee pocket on it. It was a great costume. It was fun, but it was a lot of work because it was my first time trying that. We didn't use patterns. We used like old shirts that we had to make patterns,
Yeah.
and then I embroidered a tablecloth as the 100 Acre Wood, hand embroidered.
Nice.
That took a long time.
Oh, as anything in cosplay, it takes a long time to get that detail that you want.
Right, exactly.
So, do you have any craftsmanship tips that you've learned through your years of cosplay, like what not to do and what to do? And
Not to do. I like I said, I am a very messy person. Sometimes I'm very impatient, and that's why I always die and don't starve. Um, really do measure out your things. Measure twice, cut once, sort of thing. It's and and you know sometimes it's general rule of thumb to go bigger than smaller
mhm.
because and that's another thing too. So that's I guess one thing. And when you're getting your own measurements, try to don't be vain about it because I know for me I'm like, oh, I can squeeze into this. It's like, but this
Yeah,
look, but then it doesn't look good.
yeah,
It doesn't look good. Just it is what it is. Measure to who you are, and then work to who you are because that's gonna be better all
yeah,
around. You're gonna feel better.
exactly.
And also, I don't know how to find it exactly. I find it by googling, but there was a trend on Twitter from Japanese cosplayers where
Mhm.
it was like 100 yen cosplay and they would show things they got from a 100 yen store, which is like a
Okay,
dollar. And they would show how they made it into a cosplay piece or something like that, how
nice.
they kind of cheat things. It's not cheating, it's smart
It's
working.
cosplay on a budget, you know.
Exactly. So ultimately experiment, have fun. I was Lambo from Kayako Hitman Reborn and he has horns. They were made
Mhm.
out of toilet paper when toilet paper was like
Works.
not a
Yeah,
commodity.
right when it wasn't currency.
Right, exactly. So experiment, have fun with it, measure, and measure like be nice to yourself.
You could always adjust it.
You can always adjust it. And honestly, other people are not going to notice that little tiny mistake.
Well, it just reminds me of those girls that wear their pants too tight and their little muffin tops hang over their shirt. You're like, dude, clearly those pants are too tight for you.
Right. Yeah. Like it's all about just making, and one thing to keep in mind too, like I said, I've taken a few like fashion courses just in undergrad.
Nice.
Um, it's really fun and it's a great way to learn a lot of things. And on patterns, so the men's sizes have stayed pretty consistent, but the women's sizes have kind of changed for vanity's purposes. Like women are want us to feel like they're a smaller size sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and so that is reflected in like, oh, now that's a size 12 or that's a size.
Yeah.
So that's in physical. So when you go to patterns, you might be surprised because like I'm like a size 16 or 18 on
Mm-hmm.
those, and I'm like, wow, in my pants I'm usually like not that,
Well,
but
I
that's
guess
just
it depends where you get your clothes too. Like, I know some clothing
exactly.
stores they like to make the sizes smaller for the plus size women to make them feel, oh, I got a smaller size. Like
Yeah,
Torrid or Lane Bryant, which is
yeah,
cool, which is whatever, whatever your body type. That's the great thing about cosplay is they've released a new campaign where it doesn't matter how tall you are or how short you are. It doesn't matter how skinny or fat you are. Uh, you're a cosplayer. It doesn't matter what you look like as long as you're having fun. Do you? And
yeah.
and
Make yeah. And I was just gonna say the worst thing I've in my experience with cosplay is when you're at a convention and you're uncomfortable.
mm-hmm.
Like that's when it stops being fun. So if something is like for me, if something's too tight, I'm just gonna let it out.
Yep.
I don't want that.
So
I don't
whatever.
want it. So I'm
It's like we'll just
cons
get
are
rid of
great.
that. Nope.
We'll just take out that seam and just fix it. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I
Yeah.
like.
So what's your favorite cosplay that you've done?
A lot of fun as she go.
Shigo?
She's really fun because especially just the whole convention that was she was debuted at Phoenix Comic Con when it was
Mhm.
Comic Con and not Fan Fusion.
Right. Thank you, San
Yeah,
Diego, for that.
there's that. Um, and it's just fun because a lot of people were happy to see Shigo
Hmm.
because it's nostalgia.
Yeah,
It's
of
just
course. Every
and
time somebody sees a Kim Possible, it's just like Kim Possible.
exactly. And I'm actually a part of Team Rocket Arizona. I don't know if you've
Nice.
seen us around. But we're just a group of people dressed as Team Rocket, and I have a persona of a cowgirl because I actually
Okay.
have horses I ride. So I
Hmm.
have to have like a black cowboy hat, and I have like a swing style dress,
Nice.
country line dancing with a red R on it, and I get a lot of compliments on that because it's kind of the rodeo with Pokemon, and that kind of
Oh,
like
that's pretty
a lot
cool.
of people find that fun here in Arizona because they're like, ah, I relate.
Nice. So have you ever had a horror story of in cosplay?
I've been fortunate with the people. People have always been very kind. I haven't really worried about people too much. But I have super glued things, not super glued, hot glued things to myself.
That's not fun. Mm.
Now, well, there got to be a point. I was, this was, I think it might have been a TaioCon.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember. But I was cosplaying Sango, and I had armor, and I was not very good at armor. I'm still not, but it was too heavy for the support system and it
Hmm.
kept falling off. And
Oh,
I got fed up with that. So I was with my friend in the cosplay repair room and I was like, just glue it. Just do it.
just
She's like,
glue
are
it to
you
me.
sure? just 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 glue it to me. We'll figure it out later. And then I feel like the sharp, like, that's burning. But it was
Wow.
fine. It only burned for a little bit. It was fine.
Sacrifices have to be made. Have to be
Yeah.
made. So what
Yeah.
is your funniest cosplay story?
I think that's one of them. Let me think of some of the other ones because cosplay is weird.
It is.
That's the thing. Like we all try to be like, oh, we're all pretty. I'm a pretty princess. I'm like elegant and like, yes, you're very gorgeous. You're very handsome. You're very scary if you want to be.
Yeah.
But it's silly. We were at Tucson Comic Con. My friend was dressed as Pyramid Head. I
Yep.
was stalking. My friend was Panty for Panty and Stalking with Garter Belt.
Nice.
I went to Brugger's, and so here's Pyramid Head in her Brugger's.
Yep.
Like that's to me, that's what's funny. It's just like, but cosplay chess. This is one. So,
Okay.
have you ever seen a game of cosplay chess?
Yes.
I love cosplay chess. It's my favorite thing. So um I was stalking. My friend was Panny, and
Hmm.
on the other team was a uh, I forget. I'm blanking on the doctor from Soul Eater.
Okay.
I'm forgetting what his
Don't
name
remember
is.
his
I can't
name.
with the screw in his head. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yep.
it, anyway, so we were in a position where Panny could take that character.
Okay.
So we had him. So like we're like, take him. Like we were pointing out to the other people like have this happen because um sorry, because it's not a really good, it wasn't a really good position to be in. It wasn't a really good move to make.
Yeah.
But it's Penny and this attractive doctor. So we were just like, do it. And they did it. And so what she did was she took this cosplayer behind like a panel and had like this image of like, ooh, they're making out
Yeah.
behind there. Like it was
Right.
completely consented. But that was like, okay, now this piece is gone.
Yeah.
And that was just a really funny like crossover between the two
Nice.
characters.
That's funny. No, yeah, it's that's the great thing about conventions is you get to have a lot of fun and you get to have a lot of experiences. So, what do you think is the future of conventions? Do you think we're gonna have to wear masks? Do you think there's gonna be a limited amount of tickets that are going to be sold, or
A while to have. I'm looking a lot to things that were back in like 1919 with the Spanish flu and how sort of things kind of returned to normal after a while. I think we do need to be very careful for the time being. I think there are people who will be able to give us the all clear when it's time, but I think it will help in the long run because I think people are going to be more used to personal hygiene. Like I don't think it will
Mhm.
be as important to be like, guys, it's like the rule of nine.
Yeah,
Have you heard of that
the
one?
rule of nine? Yep.
Yeah, 6 hours of sleep, 2 meals a day, one shower.
Yeah,
The shower part is the important part.
yeah,
I think that part might hopefully people will be more friends with soap in the future
yeah.
at conventions because I don't know if you've had the experience, but like day three of a con, everyone's a little funky.
Yep. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah,
just a, just a little
yeah.
bit. So for the time being, I think it's going to be we're going to have to do the masks or be like really cautious. But once we get the all clear, I think people might be more clean.
Yeah, I think so too. So, what are your go-to stores for cosplay material or full-on cosplays?
So I go to Joann's. I have all the coupons there. Unfortunately it closed here, but SAS Fabrics was a really big one
Yeah, that's out in
before.
Phoenix and Tempe now. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a website for wigs I go to called Wig is Fashion.
Nice.
And then that one's really good. I do like artists at times, but sometimes if I'm just going cheaper, I'll just Google it. I'll just go like Amazon. It's
Amazon
not
or
really always
Wish. Hmm.
right, exactly. But my fabric is usually my more important thing. And
Nice.
so that's where I go to Joann's with the coupons or anywhere else that might have the materials, even like a thrift store to find a tablecloth
Nice.
repurpose.
That's
So
cool.
yeah, so I don't usually buy full cosplays, but I will buy pieces at thrift stores and
Nice.
then fix them.
Cool. So, when you do buy wigs, do you like to buy them pre-styled or do you like to style them on your own?
Really cheap when it comes to my
Go
costumes.
cheap. Yep. Yeah.
I
Hey, you
I
have to.
prefer to working on a budget. I'm a grad student, and then I was like an undergrad student. So it's like I will just buy the cheapest type of the wig, cheapest wig I can find. I mean, I pay more a little more for quality. Like I will splurge for an art wig if it's a character I really like.
Yeah.
Um, and then I'll just figure it out from there. Like I'll style it from there, or I just will say today's bad hair day for this character. I'm just gonna go with that.
Right. It's just like it's
Pick,
bad hair.
yeah,
Just carry out
pick,
a coffee mug and just like, what's up?
yeah, yeah. If someone wants to judge me, they can do it themselves.
Right. Exactly.
So,
So, what's the biggest con that you've been to?
um, I actually went to New York Comic Con last year because I was
Oh,
living in New York, and when I was interning with Marvel, um, I if I worked there for like a day or so, they gave me a full pass to the con.
nice. That's pretty cool.
So that's where I'm also cheap. Like I will work at a convention to get to the convention for free.
Yeah, exactly. You have to put in your 6 hours or whatever, 5 hours,
Right.
and then you have like 5 hours of fun. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, and both parts of that is fun for me. I love working at the conventions, and then I like playing at the conventions. So it's a win-win.
Nice.
Um, so New York Comic Con is absolutely monstrous, huge.
Pretty cool.
Like I thought Anime Expo was big. It's like no, guys.
No, not compared to New York Comic Con. Yeah, New York Comic Con is similar to San Diego Comic Con, basically.
Yeah.
Um, so do you prefer cosplaying characters with props, or do you like say no? I don't like props because I don't like to carry them around all the time.
One prop that would make sense that I can make a purse out of. So
Hmm.
like for bubblegum, I've got my little Peppermint Butler right here. His little tie is weird. So
Nice.
he here is my purse. So I can like
That's smart. That is
a
smart.
lot of stuff right here. He got a cute little butt.
Nice.
um, so I like, and so like when I was Winnie the Pooh, I had a honey pot that was a purse, so I could keep my
Wow.
stuff in it. When I'm Kate Bishop from Marvel, she's an archer,
Hmm.
and especially now that people are cracking down on weapons,
Yeah.
instead of like arrows in the quiver, I just make that my purse. It just holds
Yeah.
my stuff.
You could have the bow, but no string, and
Right,
you
right,
I was just
right.
like, what in the world? And of course, this is not the like Phoenix Fan Fusion's fault. This is the convention centers, and each
Yeah,
convention center has their own set of rules. You know
yeah, and it is what it is. But um, I'll just make it into a purse then. And so like for
exactly.
Charlie, because she's that darkness, when you start to go insane in the game, like when your
Yeah,
mental health goes down, you
which
have those
is
little mods.
trippy. Which is trippy. Anybody who's
Yeah,
played Don't Starve or Don't Starve Together, it is trippy when your
when
when your
your
mental
health.
health goes down.
Yeah, and then
That
you have those little.
hand.
Yeah, exactly. You have those little critters going around. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna make one of those critters into my purse.
Nice.
I'm
Nice.
not sure which one, but I'm
There's
one
so
of them is
many.
gonna.
Yeah, there's so
There's
many. Yeah.
yeah.
It's hilarious to me that oh, we're just gonna pick flowers and that'll bring your mental health up. I'm just like, what the?
You're like, okay. Does
That's
that work
pretty.
IRL? Because I really need
I know,
that.
right? I'm like, yeah. If that worked in real life, man, people be picking flowers all the time. Hey, this is making my mental health perfect. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, have you ever been mistaken as a different character?
Usually people just don't try to guess with me sometimes because my characters, not to be like hipster about it, but they are more obscure because I
Hmm.
cosplay characters I really like. And sometimes people just don't know who those they are. So
Yeah.
they're just like, "Oh, I don't know who your cosplay is." And I'm like, "That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised."
So when I went to TaiyoCon, I had only watched two anime in my life, and that was Sword Art Online and My Hero Academia. And I went to TaiyoCon dressed as Kirito from Sword Art Online, and people recognized me right away. But everybody's like, "Oh, do you know who I am?" I'm like, "No clue. Don't know who you are." "Oh, I'm so and so from One Punch Man," or "I'm so and so from Bleach." I'm like, Don't know, man.
Great. Doesn't mean anything. Yeah, when I was at Anime Expo for a few times, I was Lambo from Kaiko Hitman Reborn, and he's a cow. He was a
Yeah.
baby cow. So I was dressed as a cow, and then there were a lot of people who were just like, "Oh, you're a cow," and like
You're like,
end of
no.
end of sentence, and I'm like, I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah,
So
you're not wrong. I am dressed as a cow, yes. But,
that
don't.
isn't.
The proper way to say that is, oh, you're dressed like a cow. Not calling a woman a cow. That isn't appropriate.
And, yeah, and I was crossplaying as well, so
Oh, nice.
um, people were just all they saw was just a cow, and I was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess if you just saw me, you'd think it's just a cow, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah, one thing that was a few years back was cosplay does not equal consent. And it's sad that we have to have these campaigns to educate cosplayer goers or convention goers to say, okay, just because you see a pretty girl in a cosplay does not give you the right to go up there and hug them. you know.
Yeah,
And have you ever had that situation happen to you?
situations where I've had to tell somebody that they were being inappropriate.
It's like
Um,
you respect my space.
yeah, exactly. So I cosplay from My Little Pony, but this was actually at a convention in Texas.
Okay.
I think it was Onicon, because I went to undergrad in Texas, and
And
my
you've been
friend was
everywhere.
Yeah, actually,
New York,
I've lived
Texas, Arizona. So where
Japan
are
and
you originally
Scotland.
from?
I'm originally from Arizona,
Okay.
but then I went to school in Texas, studied abroad in Scotland, came back, moved to Japan, came back, moved to New York, came back.
Wow. Wow.
I
And
like
you
it.
and you look very young. So
I'm
how?
28. 28.
So basically in 8 years you've done all this. Wow.
Yeah, I tend to move when I have an opportunity for something.
Hey, there you go.
I move for the opportunity. I'm not really like stuck to one place. And
That's
I like
good.
it.
That's
It's
good.
fun. It's a
It,
good time.
it's good. Yeah, you're young, you're exploring your options.
You gotta
S-
experience it all.
I'm sorry?
You gotta experience as much as you can when
Yep,
you can.
exactly. So have you ever lost a cosplay piece at a convention or ever purchased a cosplay piece at a convention?
So yes to both of those. One of them was so absurd, but one of them was just a basic like I had gloves for a costume and I hate wearing gloves, but like some costumes need them.
Mm-hmm.
And I took off the gloves when I was looking at something at a booth,
And
and
set
then
it
all of a
down.
sudden,
Yep.
yeah, I was just like, well, guess this person doesn't have gloves. That's
Right?
cool.
Yep.
That's cool.
It's
But
not like they're not going to recognize your cosplay with the glove or not the glove, unless
right,
unless you're dressed like Michael Jackson in that iconic glove. Okay,
right.
then
Yeah, this was just more like an outfit, and I was like, you know what, this will make this look nicer. And then I lost it. I'm
nice,
like, I guess it it wasn't that important.
nice.
Um, but there was one. This was actually, I have volunteered at BronyCon.
Mm-hmm.
It was a thing, so I worked at BronyCon for a few years. And last year I went to BronyCon, and I realized when I got there I forgot my wig cap.
Ooh.
So, and I have, if you saw earlier, I have
Yep.
long, thick, curly hair. I need a wig cap. It doesn't work
Right.
otherwise.
Right.
So I was riding the struggle bus for a while, and then the first day that I was there, then I was cosplaying because I was working there, and then I got off and I got to cosplay.
Yeah.
I ran around that convention asking everybody,
Do you have a wig?
"Do
Yeah.
you have a wig cap?" And then
right.
I went into the cosplay repair section trying to find a wig cap because I went to the wig booth and they didn't have them for some reason. I don't even know why. Yeah, I was just like, "You don't have a wig cap and you're selling wigs?" They're like, "No, sorry." I was like, "Dang it." I went into the cosplay repair
Doesn't make sense.
station. Yeah, I was like, whatever. Okay, then went into the cosplay repair section, and there were some people like working on their costumes. Like, does anyone have a wig cap? And someone was like, I have an extra one. It's like,
Nice.
how much do you want for it? And she's like, $1. I was like, cool. They gave her $1 and took her wig cap.
It's like chink. Exactly. No, it's hard when you have like long hair to you have to put that all up. It's crazy.
Yeah, especially because rocking the quarantine. Just I haven't cut it in a year.
Yeah. Well,
Now it's even
that's
longer.
good though. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do to stay safe.
Yes,
Don't cut your
exactly.
hair. Whatever. I need a
I'm an
haircut.
asthmatic, so going out can be a little bit more sketch.
Oh yeah. So, do you prefer to cosplay solo or in a group? More often, you're probably in a group, right?
I'm very solo.
Hmm.
If somebody wants to cosplay with me, so for in my experience, for me personally, a lot of my friends are kind of on the fringe of cosplay. Like they don't really cosplay all the time, or
Yeah.
not. It's not that they're flaky. It's just that things come up. They
Hmm.
have careers. They have a lot of stuff going on in their lives. So it'll be like, okay, we'll totally cosplay here. Cosplay says so. It's gotten to the point where I will suggest a cosplay for people based on who I want to dress up as.
Nice.
So I want to be Charlie. I've told my friends I want to cosplay from Don't Starve, and they're like, "Oh, I'll cosplay with you too." So I've
And
had
you're like,
two.
okay, fine, but I'm not gonna, be, sorry. No, I've
Right.
seen cosplay groups just fall apart. It's funny towards the end of the con. You see the teenage group that decided to do My Hero Academia, and they're like, "Where's Bakugo?" or "Where's it's all gone downhill."
Yeah, I mean, and it's one of those things where these girls they're mostly women. They've been my friends for like over a decade at this point.
Yeah,
So, you know, I trust them, and I trust that if they want to dress up with me, they will do so. If something comes up, something comes up. I'm gonna
yeah,
have fun. I'm gonna
exactly.
enjoy myself.
You have to. So, have you ever done a cosplay panel before?
I have.
Nice,
Yeah, I've done a question and answer panel as Rarity from My Little Pony, and that was really fun. We had a bunch of kids asking really, really cute questions. I think that's on YouTube still. It was at Phoenix Comic Con years
nice,
ago. Um, I've done one as Shigo, another question and answer one. And then I ran a panel at Phoenix Comic Con the same year I was Rarity as I was dressed as Shigo, but it was actually a panel about fandom and cosplay and like how the origins of cosplay as we know today,
nice,
from the first cosplay that was recorded in this science fiction kind of fantasy realm, and
nice.
what defines a fan. Like how would you define a fan?
That's cool.
So it was really fun. I love panels.
So, if you could tell your past self something about cosplay, what would you say?
Relax. Just relax. Relax and enjoy it. Because, you get really, really stressed out. Con crunch is real. Um,
Right.
yeah, it's real. You get freaked out and then you're worried about things not being perfect. But honestly, especially at the level like I'm at, where it's just like a lot of this is for fun,
Yeah,
it's for fun. If you're not having fun, why are you wasting your
exactly.
time? So just,
Why are
I
you
would just,
doing it?
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, I
Yeah.
would, if, I guess recently I've gotten this philosophy where if someone's not paying me to do something, they don't get a say in how I do
Yeah, exactly.
it. Like I write fan fiction because that's who I am. If someone has a complaint about my fan fiction, they can write it. Or pay me and then I'll fix it.
Yep. I may have been one of your panels if you do fan fiction panels.
I
Yeah.
actually haven't done any of those, but I might in the
Yeah.
future because I love fan fiction.
Yeah, those are always fun.
Yeah.
They get really graphic. And there was like an
Fan
18
fiction
plus
is,
and it was like, "Whoa." You decided to take that to the left field over there, but that's
you know
okay.
what? Fan fiction is such a fascinating element of fandom culture that like I there's so much research on it and there's
Mhm.
so much academic studies about it. It's great.
Yeah.
It's the best thing. I love
Nice.
it.
So, what is your ultimate dream cosplay right now?
Changes based on what I want. So what I want is like a super intricate, elegant dress. So I'm thinking that's going to be the Charlie dress. Is going to be my if I can do it right. it's going to be like my dream. Like, this is gorgeous.
Yeah.
So the bigger, so in my future, my ideal dream cosplay, I don't even know who it's going to be, which is the probably the what makes me the worst cosplayer ever. Like, I don't know who it is, but it
No,
has to be a big, pretty dress with sparkles.
sparkles. Yeah.
It can be scary or it can be a princess,
Very
like
nice.
a Disney princess. I don't care who. I just want it to be difficult to make.
Yeah,
I want it to be a challenge.
a lot of people like to ask me is like the dress behind me right here is it's like, oh, is that the Outlander dress from the TV show Outlander? I'm like, no, my wife just made it for herself for a Renaissance festival. So
Yeah,
you know, and it's like, oh, really looks like the Outlander dress. I'm like, oh, cool, good.
yeah.
I'm glad. Maybe it can be whatever, you know. So yeah, what is the most difficult thing about cosplay? Do you think? It's like
Making
what are the negative things on
the first thing is, so I'm saying this as someone who has high anxiety. It's getting over yourself. Like, I know that's kind of been like a theme of what I've been talking about, is just accepting yourself and
it? Hmm.
accepting your abilities and being okay with who you are, and maybe you're not perfect at things, but you really don't need to be, because people aren't going to notice that. Like, people,
Yeah.
a lot in my experience at conventions, I mean, there are sometimes the people who are a little bit more negative and more cranky about things, but they're few and far in between in my experience. So, like, the hardest part about cosplay is doing it.
Mhm.
Like, getting, like, being okay with looking a little weird. Since that my crowd is like, bye, peace out.
Yeah. Your crowd's like, oh well, we're not gonna stay on today.
My crowd's like, you're boring, go away. But
Right.
yeah, just that's the hardest part about cosplay, is being okay with doing it, being okay with talking about it. Like,
Hmm.
you would not. So sometimes I would be embarrassed about it, but then, like, I'm like, I need a pink eyeshadow, I need pink makeup, I need something that looks good.
Yeah.
So I went to Sephora, found somebody who works here, and said, "This is my goal. What do I do?" They knew
Yeah.
who I was dressing up as. They knew I was cosplaying. They got me exactly what I needed.
Yep. Exactly. No, it's funny and then at the same time sad how you know girls who are scantily dressed or showing a lot of skin or cleavage are going to get more attention than the person who has a very delicate like intricate cosplay that they've worked on for hours and hours. What's your opinion about that? Is that going to be the future of cosplay? That more and more we're seeing that, oh, the pretty girls get the attention, whereas the not so pretty or like plus size women are going to be pushed away because let's face it, it's a female dominated industry right now, and the more professional cosplayers come out, as they want to call themselves, they're the ones that are the perfect body shape, perfect awesome, everything like that.
Um, I mean, I think what we're seeing right now too is just like this influx of social media and this need to have likes and everything like that, and that people, I mean, people are drawn to things that are or that are visually appealing to them.
Mhm.
But I also think that there's room in the discussion for everyone,
Mhm.
and I think the more
Hence the
that,
new campaign that
yeah,
everyone can cosplay. Yep.
yeah, I mean, I think that it's really in our hands as fans and as people who enjoy cosplay. Like, you know, maybe someone's not cosplaying a character the way that you would cosplay them, but it doesn't make them wrong,
Yeah.
because if they're like I said, it all boils down to, are you having a good time?
Hmm.
What are your, and I guess that comes into, like, are your priorities reasonable? Like, if you're in it to be the most popular cosplayer, get all of the pictures and all of these things and all of this fame, and you see somebody who might be a more ideal body shape than you getting more, then it's going to be upsetting.
Hmm.
But if you're in it for, I want to get better at sewing, I want to emulate this character that I love and I enjoy. I want to make friends. I want to meet people. I want to be in absurd situations that make no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're going to have more of a fun time. So I think there's room for everybody. And I think it depends on your mindset. What is your priority? And why is it your
Yeah.
priority?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't flaunt, like, I don't fault anybody for dressing how they want to dress as long as you're comfortable in your own skin. You do you. You
Yeah.
it's whatever. If you want to open up your OnlyFans and get people to send you money, hey, you do you. It doesn't
Power.
bother me.
Right. I mean, as yeah, for as far as I'm concerned, power to you. I mean, I cosplay as in the promo picture. I cosplayed Nami from
Yep.
One Piece, and I cosplayed after the time skip, so she had a bikini top and
Yeah.
jeans. I'm like,
Yep.
I have rules. I am not a tiny person, but as far as I'm concerned, I had a lot of fun. I met a great group of people who were cosplaying from One Piece, and we had an impromptu photo shoot. And the
Nice.
voice actress for Robin in the Japanese version was there, and she took a picture of us.
Nice.
This is at TaioCon like 2 years ago.
That's really cool.
And so my memories of that are so positive that I'm just like, yeah, I don't care what other people were doing.
Awesome. So, what is your favorite part about cosplaying?
I the community,
Hmm.
especially. Um, for whatever reason, for better or worse, TaioCon has kind of been my I usually go to this convention, con.
Hmm. Yeah,
And so every time I go back, like it's not the biggest one, it might not even be the best one,
it's fun,
but yeah, I have a good time.
especially
And
the
so
karaoke nights, man. They're fun.
yeah, and so I whenever I go back there, I'm always running into people that I haven't seen in a year or two. And
Yeah,
it's always just like we said, like, see you later for like a weekend and came back, we're like, oh, hey, there you are. What's up? How's it going?
yeah. No, there's
And
lots of things that cosplayers can do, and as we're getting more bold and going outside, and we're going, oh, hey, let's meet up in a social distancing kind of picnic or something, or you know,
yeah,
and I think that's what we're seeing right now is we're slowly getting back to normal, but it's kind of hard because we're still amongst this huge pandemic that a, a lot of people in America still feel is a hoax or something, and it's like, look at Sturgis for an instant, the biker club who decided to go and ride their bikes without masks and go party, and then we have an influx, and people are like, "Oh, that's not because of them." I was like, "No, it was because of them. We have to be careful. We
yeah,
have." And if you look at the studies, it just shows that the more and more influx we get, it's crazy. And now they're saying, "Oh, hey, we have an influx in people going out to eat at diners." And it was like, "Geez, Louise, what the heck? Can we not escape this virus?" And that's why I think for the future of cosplay, it's up in the air. It's up in the air for conventions.
yeah. I want to think that conventions will make it through because there's just we've come so far already and we've cultivated such a community. Like I
Mm.
want to see my the other Team Rocket members again.
Right.
Because I love them. They're
Yeah.
great. I want to see the people I see at conventions. I want to make sure everyone's okay. I want to meet people. I want to just like dress up and walk around. But as an asthmatic and everything, I want it to be safe because
Exactly.
I'm not.
Exactly.
So that's why I decided that I'm gonna make a costume that's gonna take a while,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna really because for me, focusing on making something with my hands is a really good self-soothing, lowering my anxiety sort of thing. Like
Hmm.
I'm a writer, but it's harder when you write something because there's never really a clear end. But when
Yeah.
you're sewing something, you're like, it's sewed.
It's
It's done.
sewn. It's done. It's
You
complete.
can't really do much more from here.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
having that physical completeness.
Yeah, I think for right now it's hard to tell what the future of cosplay is going to be right now because we're amongst this huge pandemic right now, and it's scary to see a lot of cosplayers just starting to fall away from cosplay because they're like, well, what's the point? I can't do photo shoots, I can't do Comic Con, I can't do any like hangouts with my friends. I was like, well, you could still dress up. You could still take pictures of yourself. You could still, you know, just walk around the store in your cosplay. That's what somebody did. One cosplayer I saw on social media, he decided to go as Spider Man, and he went shopping as Spider Man.
Happy as well.
Yeah,
I'm sure going to a store as Spider-Man made some people happy.
yeah,
And like that's kind of really part of why it's fun to cosplay too, because maybe maybe I'm cosplaying that obscure character nobody knows, but for that one person who does know that character, it's really exciting.
exactly.
It's really like when I see his character from this show is called Sayuki, and
Hmm.
it's an old anime, old manga, fantastic, one of my favorites, but like no one's heard of it.
Yeah,
But I've seen like every once in a while I see like that one cosplay. I'm like, you're from Sayuki,
you're like,
and it just like
haha.
makes my soul fun. I'm like,
No,
oh
you
my
too
god,
good.
you're here.
Yep, exactly. And it's funny because during the Renaissance Festival, there was knights and ladies dressed up as like their character walking through Fry's, walking through Walmart, and it's like, oh, the Renaissance Festival's in town. Ooh, nice. And it's funny. It's so much fun to dress up.
Maybe what we need to do is issue a challenge to people who to cosplayers so that when the next con comes around, you can say, I'm going to wear something that was difficult to make, that was really fun to make. It doesn't have to be difficult, it could be really
Yeah,
fun to make. I had a great time with this. I spent a lot of time on it because I had a lot of time at home.
yeah. Debut
And
your newest best cosplay, right?
yeah, and like the next time the con comes around, people can show up and be like, I was really creative
Yeah,
because I needed to be.
yeah.
Because for me, like a lot of times, my to be open, my mental health has taken a hit.
Hmm.
I have anxiety and depression, and this hasn't helped.
Yeah.
So if I focus on, I want to make this outfit, I want to do my best so that when I can go, this is it. So I have something that I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to.
Yeah, there's a new thing that's called cosplay Zoom parties where you get on Zoom in your cosplay and you just have fun acting like the character that you're cosplaying.
I was in New York and I was taking classes with the Upright Citizens Brigade, which is improv and sketch comedy and stuff like
Yeah,
that. And so I was taking sketch writing course. So we actually made a podcast with all of our sketch comedy stuff. And if
nice.
we're plugging things, I might plug this. It's
Go
called the
ahead.
$500 comedy class. $500 comedy class on Apple
Hmm.
Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Podbean.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of talented voice actors to voice our sketches. I wrote one where animals are having a Zoom meeting because their owners are home now all the time and they need support, and
Nice.
one where a student walks in on her teacher teaching another class, and it's like you're cheating on me, and he's like,
You
I'm a
cheat
teacher.
at me.
He's like, I'm a teacher.
I'm a teacher. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, so I'll definitely plug that because I shameless self,
Awesome.
but a lot of the improv groups have had to go on Zoom.
Yeah, it's
The
true.
improv on
Yep. It's
Zoom.
it's
It is what it
pretty
is.
crazy. It is what it is right now. Well, thank you again, PC Cosplay, for coming on to the show, and I appreciate
Thank you
your
for
time.
having me.
You're awesome. Your cosplay is awesome. I wish you all the luck in the future, and hopefully this pandemic can go away, and then we
Yeah,
can vaccinate it or whatever we got to do to make it go away, so we can get back to
maybe we'll
concerts, get back to
stay for
conventions.
2 weeks.
Huh?
Maybe people will stay in for 2 weeks, not
You
touch
know,
anything.
that would have been the best thing in the world if we would have had like a leader to say, "Listen, everybody go to the shop now. It's going to be panic. It's going to be crazy, but get 2 weeks worth of food.
Yeah,
2 weeks. And
yeah,
then lock yourselves inside. Do not come out at all for anything for 2 weeks. And we'll have this under control.
yeah.
But no, they
Well,
want to go, this is my right as an American. I get to go outside. I'm like,
it hurts physically. But
yeah.
also, one more thing I will try to plug. This has not been
Yeah, go
developed
ahead.
yet. Like I said, I take sketch writing. I like to write comedy sketches.
Mm-hmm.
I'm planning on the next convention that opens up. Not only will I cosplay Charlie, but I'll also have a sketch comedy show based on a convention.
Nice.
So like just jokes about living at a
Yeah.
convention and being at a
And
con.
that all the social links will be in the YouTube video that it will be posted in a few days. Uh, Follow PC Cosplay on all their socials, and if you like what you see, in this video, go ahead and give us a follow here on Cosplay Interview. Thank you again, PC Cosplay. Thank you for your time. All right.
Someone's looking at getting into cosplay, watch these videos and really just listen to people.
Yep. Take care.
All right, thanks. You too.
Bye.